most controversial songs.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my...
Remember when this one taught you what real rebellion felt like? Or when this other track finally made the message click? Both have one thing in common. Back in the day, they scared the hell out of people. We're talking songs that got whispered about in kitchens, screamed about in the streets, banned from radio stations, and still, 50 plus years later, hit like a brick to the chest. Today, we're turning it up loud and counting down the most controversial rock songs of all time. The ones that started fights, changed minds, and refused to shut up. 12 Blowin' in the Wind by Bob Dylan.
Is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing.
Every time that voice cracks through the speakers, you're right back on the couch, radio turned low, quiet afternoon, and one question burning a hole in your brain. How many roads must a man walk down? This wasn't a song you danced to. It was a conversation that made you stare at the floor. The world was boiling. Civil rights marches, a war dragging on, politicians preaching peace while the TV showed blood.
In the wind.
And here comes this skinny kid with a guitar and a harmonica, asking the questions grown-ups pretended weren't there. He didn't give answers. And maybe that's why it hurt so bad, because every line felt aimed straight at you, your neighbor, the government, the whole damn country. Bob wrote Blowin' in the Wind in one afternoon, sitting in a Greenwich Village cafe, took an old folk melody and slapped brand new words on it that felt like a revolution.
Is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing.
Kids locked arms and sang it on marches, but it also played in living rooms where moms and dads sat in silence, wondering when everything got so complicated. Before we keep rolling, drop your name and how old you are in the comments. Let's go. 11. I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. That fuzz tone riff hits, and suddenly you're in a smoky basement, turntable fighting the party noise. Satisfaction wasn't polite. It was a whine, a middle finger, a big loud something ain't right here. Mick's voice shredded the happy shiny lie everybody was trying to sell. He couldn't get no satisfaction, and every kid listening knew exactly what he meant. Story goes, Keith dreamed that riff, woke up half dead in a hotel room, hit record on a little cassette player, mumbled it into the mic, and went back to sleep. Next morning, one of the most famous intros in history. Parents freaked, stations pulled it, but a whole generation heard their own frustration screamed back at them. Subscribe if you love at least one Stone song. Liar if you say you don't. The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan.
Don't speak too soon for the wheel's still in spin.
The 60s felt like the world was spinning too fast. Clothes, ideas, even the music in your own house. Then Dylan shows up like a prophet in a work shirt, telling everybody what we already felt but couldn't say. The times ain't what they used to be. It was a warning shot aimed at senators, parents, anyone clutching power. Pay attention or get left behind. A new generation was coming hard and fast, and you better listen instead of trying to stop it. Kids made it their anthem, sang it in parks, on marches, while a lot of living rooms got real quiet because nobody likes hearing their kids say the old rules don't apply anymore. Dylan wrote it on purpose to sound like a church bell ringing in the change, short biblical lines that felt unstoppable. 9. Eve of Destruction by Barry McGuire.
Tell me over and over and over again.
From the first growl, you knew this wasn't happy time radio. Barry sounded like a guy who'd just seen Tomorrow and it sucked.
We're on the eve of destruction.
again.
War, racism, hate, hypocrisy. He threw it all in your face like a nightly news report with a beat. Stations banned it left and right, called it unpatriotic, bad for troop morale, but it shot to #1 because people needed to hear somebody say the quiet part loud.
Me over and over and over again, my friend.
It didn't sugarcoat the fear, it rubbed your nose in it, and that's why it still feels like a punch. 8. For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield.
Ain't exactly clear.
You might not remember the title, but the second that guitar line creeps in, boom, you're there. It sounds like a guy whispering while staring out the window at a street about to explode. Started over some curfew riots on the Sunset Strip, but the lyrics caught something way bigger. That feeling one spark could set everything off.
And with a gun over there.
It became the soundtrack for every protest, every clash between kids and cops, even though it never once mentioned Vietnam. Stephen Stills wrote it after watching the chaos firsthand on that famous LA boulevard. Play it now and you're right back turning on the TV, seeing tear gas and running feet, wondering how far it was all gonna go. What's your favorite protest song of all time? Drop it in the comments. 7. White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. In the middle of all the noise, nobody saw a song about a white rabbit taking over the world. Drums march in like a heartbeat. Then Grace Slick grabs your hand and drags you down the rabbit hole. Alice, mushrooms, hookah-smoking caterpillars. Except this ain't for kids. Between the lines, it's about a generation expanding their minds any way they could. Pills that make you taller, potions that make you small, code for stuff parents were terrified of. Stations watched it like hawks, but since it never said the word drugs, it slipped through the cracks and blew up anyway. Children's stories became the perfect Trojan horse, and the song still feels like a dare. 6. I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag by Country Joe and the Fish.
2, 3, what are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn.
Melody sounds like a clown car pulled up. Happy, bouncy, almost nursery rhyme silly. Then you listen to the words, and the smile freezes. It's a savage joke about Vietnam, inviting kids to enlist like it's the county fair while naming generals, politicians, and war profiteers who never have to bleed.
Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam.
The laugh track makes it worse, because laughing and being furious at the same time is the most uncomfortable feeling in the world. Some called it treason, others called it the truest anti-war song ever.
Expect to ever stop the war if you can't sing any better than that.
Then, Country Joe got 500,000 people at Woodstock to spell out the ultimate anti-war 4-letter word, and that moment is still burned into history. 5. Street Fighting Man by the Rolling Stones. The Stones again, because those guys never met a line they wouldn't cross. Street Fighting Man sounds like the street itself got plugged into an amp, raw guitars, dry drums, mixed snarling about riots, and kids ready to tear the city apart. He sings from the point of view of a rich city kid who feels the pull of the chaos but knows he's powerless. That mix of guilt and rage hit harder than any slogan. Stations pulled it during the '68 riots, scared it would throw gas on the fire. Listen now and you're back watching the news. Cities burning. Wondering if your own street was next. 4. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones.
Please for me too. Hope you guess my
we couldn't leave the Stones without this one. The track that starts like a samba party and turns into the creepiest history lesson ever. Those whoos, the congas, then Mick steps up and introduces himself as Lucifer, pleased to meet you. He runs through centuries of atrocities and politely claims he was there for every single one. Churches picketed, parents hid the record, people swore the Stones sold their souls. But the real gut punch wasn't Satan worship, it was the idea that evil wears a suit, shakes hands, and runs the show. Believe it or not, it started as a slow Dylan-style ballad. In the studio, they added African percussion and those chants and accidentally created a monster. Still, the most dangerous 6 minutes in rock. 3. Revolution by the Beatles. By '68, the Beatles weren't cute mop tops anymore, they were full-blown cultural lightning rods. Everybody expected them to jump on the revolution train full speed. Instead, John Lennon hit the brakes and asked, "Wait, what kind of revolution are we talking about?" Distorted guitars scream rebellion, but the lyrics say, yeah, change is coming, but count me out if it's just hate and destruction. That middle-of-the-road stance pissed off both sides. Radicals called him a sellout, hardliners called him a communist. Anyway, true fans know there's a slow blues version, and the loud one, we all know, perfect mirror of Lennon's own torn feelings. It was controversial because it said, thinking is revolutionary too. And sometimes the hardest thing is refusing to pick up the rock or the gun. 2. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown. While everybody else was yelling slogans, the godfather of soul grabbed the mic and dropped a bomb that changed everything. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. It was a fist in the air, talking low wages, disrespect, centuries of being told you're less. Then he flipped it, said enough. Time to stand tall without apology. In black neighborhoods, kids started chanting the chorus in the streets like it was written for them, because it was. Some stations wouldn't touch it, scared of the message, but the message was already out, and it's still echoing. James wanted every little kid to grow up hearing their own voice saying they were proud of who they are, no permission needed. 1. Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. We close with a band that burned bright and short but flipped the world upside down while they were here. Fortunate Son hits like a shotgun blast. No warm-up, just John Fogerty snarling from the first note. It's about the kids with connected daddies who never have to wear the uniform, while working-class boys get the draft letter and no way out. It doesn't just hate the war, it hates the hypocrisy of flag-waving politicians safe behind desks while other people's sons come home in bags. Pure dynamite in '69, and it still makes the powerful squirm today. That's our ride through the songs that shook the world, got banned, got loved, got hated, and never backed down. We'll drop another classic playlist below if you want to keep the fire burning. Catch you next time. And keep questioning everything.